Hi guys, Jennifer from Scrapping Under the Influence. We are going to be doing the tutorial to make this little mini folio that has, oh, for fuck's sake. Hi guys, Jennifer from Scrapping Under the Influence. Today we're going to be doing the tutorial to make this little mini folio with the shaker on the front. This is 5x7. It's super easy. And I think it will be a really fun project, especially if you're a beginner to making your own albums from scratch. So let's get started. Well, if I can get a hold of anything here, huh? Okay, so you're going to start with 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5x7 and one that is 1 inch by 7 inch. So this is going to be our cover. And then you need 2 pieces of cardstock to cover this that are 9 inches by 7.5 inches. So what I like to do to help line things up is I do like to actually score these on the top and the bottom at 1 inch. This just helps me better line up the 2 pieces of cardstock when I'm putting them together here in just a second. And when you are assembling the base, it helps to line up the chipboard on your base paper. So I'm going to go ahead and just peel that tape partway back and fold it down. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to just line it up press it down up here, and then very carefully pull out my tape backing. Alright, so the reason we're starting with 2 smaller pieces is so that when we have that seam that's going to show up on the back of our book, when we have that seam right there, we can kind of center it on this spine because it is a smaller spine. I did measure this wrong. That's okay. We will trim some of this off here in a second because I actually did measure it too long, but that's alright. Okay, so I'm going to use this bottom score line. I'm going to line my chipboard up on that bottom score line and put it down. And I'm going to, before I do that, to help both reinforce this gusset and to give us a measurement to make sure our gusset is wide enough, I'm actually going to take 1/4 inch score tape and I'm going to put it on either side of my spine. This will help me give me a visual on where I need to put my chipboard piece along with this so that I get enough space in between here that my spine isn't going to crack. And actually having that tape on there does help reinforce it somewhat, that you're less likely to have your cardstock crack. And if you are using the artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations, which is what I'm using here in black, that will actually also go a long way towards making sure that your covers don't crack. Okay. Get this one off too. Well, maybe. There we go. And that apparently didn't want to stay on there, but that's okay. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, I'm going to turn this over And burnish this down. Okay. And then, since this is actually about 1/2 inch longer than it was supposed to have been, let's figure out where I put my paper trim here. I'm actually going to trim about 1/2 inch off of that because somehow I measured that wrong. That's okay. And then I'm also going to trim on the ends so that that end piece that we're folding over is also right about 1 inch. And that just helps with there not being a whole bunch of bulk in the album as you're putting it together. So I'm going to take a piece of chipboard here, and I'm going to mark where I'm going to miter the corners on the cover. Okay, and then I'm going to take, excuse me, my 5/8 inch score tape. And I'm going to run it on my edges here. And I'm not running all the way to the ends just because we are going to cut that off, and there's really no point in wasting, you know, a couple inches of score tape because, as we all know, this stuff is not cheap. Okay, so then I'm going to take, and just on this side of that line that I drew, I'm going to trim that off. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to take the backing off of that 1/4 inch score tape that's down there in my gusset for my cover. Get that out of the way. And then I'm going to fold this, train this how it's going to bend. Something weird going on here. Okay, I think I've got autofocus turned off now, so that should be better. All right, so we've trained our edges. We are going to start on the side closest to us. I'm actually going to run a bead of glue just along that edge where that's going to fold over on top of that chipboard. And then I'm folding, starting in the middle, working our way out and pressing it down. We're going to do the exact same thing again on the other end. Start in the middle and fold over. And again on the ends. However, before we do the ends, I'm going to take my little scraper tool that I've been using to tear my tape, and I'm actually going to work the edge of that corner in. Okay. So I'm going to do this on both sides. And what that's going to do, you don't have to do that. It just gives your corners, when you fold them over, it just gives you a much cleaner, crisper corner. Same thing again. We're going to go with the glue. We're going to fold up and press down. All right, so there's that. We're going to go ahead and fold that. And I did have just a little bit that tore on me on that top corner. That's okay, because we'll just fix that really quickly. Yeah, it does not like me today. I don't know why. This does not usually tear. I must have pulled it a little bit tighter than I thought I did. But you know what? It's okay. All right, so now we need to cover the inside of this, and I actually need to trim just a little bit more off here. So this is 6 3/4 high, and right now it's about 11 1/2. Let's say, let's go 11 1/4. Okay, that'll cover that perfectly. And for this, I'm actually going to get out some of my big tape. Let me actually, let's get that big scraper to tear this with. Ah, there we go. And this one is the, not right on it, 2.5 inch. That's how I tend to keep my tape straight, because when you're dealing with 1/2 inch versus 3/8 versus, you know, it can get kind of confusing. So I actually just write the size of my tape just right here on the inside of the rolls. All right, I'm just gonna run a couple pieces of 5/8 down the middle. Actually, go back to my normal one. All right, and just for fun, we'll do one more 1/4 inch right there in the center. All right, get this burnished down. Could use glue, but then we're gonna have to wait for glue to dry. Actually, if you wanted to buy yourself some time, you can do score tape and glue together, and that does give you the ability to kind of wiggle this around if you need to. Okay, there we go. All right, so our cover's done. Just gonna get in here and gently bend. Start working that down in the crease there. Same thing on the other side. And just start working that down, because then that'll grab onto that 1/4 inch score tape we left in that gusset. And all right, we're in business. All right, so let's work on the inside on the right-hand side. So on the right-hand side, we have stacked pockets. We have a flap that goes up, and we have a flap that goes out. And then we have a little 1/2 page flap. So I've actually gone ahead and scored all of these. So for your stacked pockets, you need 3 pieces that are 5 5/8 wide. One of them is 2 inches high, so 5 5/8 by 2 inches. 5 5/8 by 3 1/8. 5 5/8 by 4 1/2. You're going to score these at 1/2 inch on each end, and then miter your corners. And then what we're going to do this down. On the back side here, I've put tape on the ends on the front, turned it over, put 1/4 inch score tape along the bottom, and that's going to be the bottom of our pocket. And before we put that down, actually we need the flap down first. So you're going to need 3 flaps that are going to flip out. These are all going to be 5 1/2 wide by 6 3/4 high. You're actually going to score these at 3/4 of an inch. On 2 of them, on the one for the right hand side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch and 5/8 of an inch. So you've got a little bit, just like a tiny eighth of an inch gusset on this. And that is because when we get these pockets down, they're kind of high. I actually just bent that the wrong way, but that's okay. They're kind of high. And if you don't add that little 1/8 of an inch gusset, this ends up kind of pulling funny. So we're going to put this flap down first. I'm going to use the end that doesn't have the adhesive on it to kind of get it centered up here. Get it about where I want it. Okay. Now we can put down the first of our pockets. Go to our next pocket. And our last pocket. Okay. Since I do have a couple of the mats cut for this, we could actually, other than I cut them too long. Okay, so that's, did I cut them? I did. Okay, so these should be 4 5/8. So the paper that we're using on this one is Magical Journey 2 from Echo Park. And that still isn't quite right. What have I done here? Okay, so maybe it's not 4 5/8, maybe it's 4 1/2. Okay, 4 1/2 wide on the mats on this. Actually remove some of this mess. Okay. So matting these, it's kind of up to you. So you can do this where you actually slip the mat down into the pocket so that you just have, you know, that slight 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. You can do this so you have the border, I'm sorry, just on the top and the sides. You can do this so you have the border all the way around. On these, I think I'm actually going to just slip them down in there. And I need one more actually, but that's okay. We'll get that in just a second, or two more that is. Okay. Got some glue on there. I'll slip this down in. Center it up. This one, okay, I'm going to use it down there. I need to trim just a touch off of that. So it's at 2 inches right now. It really needs to be at 1 3/4 so that we have the right border. Okay. Let's center that up on there. Okay, there we go. And then let's do I'm going to do the polka dots on that one. Okay. And matting, I can give you measurements, but since everybody measures slightly differently, you may have a paper trimmer that's not quite right, like that dumb Fiskars I was just using. You know, it's entirely up to you how you want to mat this as far as your border and whatnot. I typically go for an 1/8 of an inch border. Now I can't find my ruler, of course, because, you know, that would make sense. So we're just going to guess here. So this is about, we'll say that right there. So about 3 inches. 3 inches sounds good. You know, so I mean, it's up to you how much of a border you want to leave, you know, if you want everything matted as close to the edge as possible. Basically, to get an 1/8 of an inch border, you take the measurement of a page and you deduct 1/4 of an inch. If you wanted 1/4 of an inch border, you deduct 1/2 an inch. If you wanted a 1/16 of an inch border, you deduct an 1/8 of an inch. So that's just kind of how that works. So for this flap that's going up, this one is 4 3/4 across by 7 1/4 long. This one is scored at 1/2 of an inch instead of 3/4 of an inch. The reason we did this other one at the other one's at 3/4 of an inch is it does help them lay a little bit flatter. Okay, so this one, we're actually going to turn this upside down so I can line it up. This is going to go on top of here. Press it down. Okay. So now we could go ahead and mat these 3 if we want to. So to mat the flaps, so the flip up and the 3 that flip out, the mat for that is going to be 4.5 by 6.5. So we're going to go with that one there. Because this one is so simple, that's why we're going to go ahead and mat it as we go, because this is not one that requires a whole lot of decorating or a whole lot of, you know, fussing with the inside of it. Okay, so there's that. And inside here, let's do, what have I got? What are my options here? Those polka dots, I have those polka dots, I have that plaid. How about let's do those stars with those stars? I kind of like that. just because this is a really quick one to put together. It doesn't take long to cut everything out just in one shot. It doesn't take long to assemble. It doesn't take long to mat. So we're just going to kind of do this as we go. And since hopefully things are recording correctly this time, we can just do this last time and be done. Because I've already done, this is my third one. I did my one at the retreat last weekend. I did another one last night, came down here today to get my video edited. Apparently it didn't save. This is my own fault. I have a new setup. I thought it was saving. It was not saving. It was exporting, but it wasn't saving. So, live and learn. Alright, so now we've got these 4 that we'll use on this other side here in a minute. Alright, so on this page, we have that little half-page flap. So, this is going to be 4 3/4 across by 3 7/8 high. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch. I should have bent that before I did that, but that's okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up with the bottom of that flap, and then we'll press it down. Okay, so we're going to mat this one. These are like just slightly too big, aren't they? Okay, so somehow here I've gotten these messed up. So the mat for these are going to be 4.5 by 3 1/4. So let's do this one there. When I first started paper crafting, it was really hard to find Disney papers that weren't just the ones that they sell at like Michael's and Joann's and Hobby Lobby that just have, you know, Mickey Mouse on them. When what I really wanted was something that was just kind of in those, you know, Disney colors. So like the red, the yellow, the black, the blue. I mean, basically, you know, what we've got going here. You know, and I love that right now there's this collection, of course, from Echo Park. There's a really fabulous one from Photo Play. Called, I think it's called A Day at the Park. And then of course Simple Stories released their Say Cheese 4, and that one is absolutely adorable. Oh my gosh, I haven't bought it yet. I've been resisting the urge because I've got a whole stack of the Photo Play paper because I loved it that I have yet to do anything with. So I need to come up with a project and get moving on that because I love that one. Okay, so look at that. That fast. We've got one entire side of our book done. Left the magnets out of this time because I'm almost out of magnets. But if you wanted to, you could put a magnet in here. What I had done before was I put a magnet here on this page and then the other one on the top of this page. So then that just kind of holds that whole section closed. But I'm running low on magnets, so I'm not going to use the rest of them up on this book. So now for the left-hand side, we've got 2 flaps that go out. Both of these again are 5.5 by 6 3/4. You're going to score them at 3/4 of an inch. That doesn't sound right, does it? I can't find my ruler for some reason. I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, no, that is right. Okay. Yeah, so 6 3/4 high, 5.5 inches across. Scoring it at 3/4 of an inch. We're going to put one, let's see here, this one needs to go down that way. So we're going to attach this one to the top of the other flap. And then we're going to attach it down on the book. Okay, so there we go. We go there, and we go there. And we are just going to burnish this down, make sure everything's good and down. And once again, this is another place where I had put a magnet on the other book. I think I've got one big one left. So I had put one down in the very back and put the other one on this side in here so that it will hold it down, which this side I think I'm actually going to do it. This side lays pretty flat on its own, but the other side doesn't cooperate quite as well, especially once we get the waterfall on here. And I do have small magnets, but the small magnets are just not going to quite cut it. So we do need the bigger magnets to do this. Okay, so I put those in there. Okay, now we can go ahead and mat these before we go too much further here. So let's see here. How do we want to do this? Let's go like that. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Okay. Ooh, stars. Actually, let's do stars. Okay, I'm just going to center that up on here. With the stars, let's do that. Is that what I did in there? No, that is what I did in there, so let's wipe that off. All right, let's do, yeah, let's do the, let's do that one. Stick with the original plan. Okay, we're going to open up this way, and we're going to go in here. Okay. All right. So now we are moving on to our waterfall. All right. So the waterfall is actually going to sit on a belly band. This will give you another tuck spot back behind it, but what it also does is help you line up your waterfall evenly. Okay. So for the belly band, this is going to be 4.5 inches wide by 7 3/4 high. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch on each end and miter your corners. For the waterfall itself, it's going to be 4 1/4 wide by 4 3/4 high, scoring at 1/2 inch on the 3/4 inch side. Okay. Do not miter your waterfall. You can, but it ends up looking really weird when you get it down and you're flipping through it. Okay, so I've gone ahead and folded the end of this over. I'm not taking the tape off yet. I do have the tape backing off of this piece that's going to go on top. So I'll line this up flush with the top, push it down, and then flip it back. For me, it's easier to do my waterfalls upside down and then turn them the right way when I go to actually, or you know, if they're going directly down in the book, not going on a belly band, of course, you know, I would turn the book, make sure your book's turned the right way before you start doing anything else. But I don't know, I just find it easier to do these upside down. So to each his own. So there is our waterfall. I'm just going to go ahead and burnish this. Start underneath here on the very first one. All right. Now, make sure your book's facing the right way. Make sure your waterfall is facing the right way. And then we're going to go ahead and put our waterfall down. So we're just going to center it up on this page. Push that bottom down. I'm going to flip it around. Make sure it's down tight. And there we go. Now, because I do like doing this, I do have a little band for the waterfall. This one is, let's see, how wide is this? This is 1 3/4 inches by 5.5. So 1 3/4 by 5.5. Scored at 1 inch. And then just center it up at the bottom of your waterfall. And then we're going to get the small magnets. And the small magnets will not hold these pages down nearly as well. That's why I didn't use them. They're perfect for holding down, well, maybe it is, a small waterfall. All right, so I'm going to put one of these down over here. Put its little friend down on top. Flip it down, push it. There you go. All right, so we're going to mat that. The matting on this, I am leaving a little bit bigger of a gap on this because it's fine. I believe this was like 1 1/4, just shy of 1 1/4. I don't have a whole lot of this particular paper left. Unfortunately, which is really too bad because I love this paper. Okay, and then to mat our waterfall, we are just going to use the 4x4 cut aparts. Okay, so I have 7. We need 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So what I'm going to do is go through, figure out where I want these. I'm going to start with this one. Turn that over and use that side. And really, you don't even have to mat the back side of these waterfall pages. It would be absolutely fine if you left them as is. In fact, honestly, it'd be good, because then you can, you know, just stick some pictures in there and there you go. Okay, let's do this side again. Okay. Okay, do one more. Okay, so that much is done. Need to cut a strip for this little center section here. I think we're actually just going to use that piece right there. So the little center section is matted at 6 3/4 by, it ends up being like 1 1/8 approximately. Actually, let's give it 1 inch, it's fine. Okay, so we're going to get that matted. Look how fast this is coming along, this is great. Okay, so that in there. All right, we're going to close this up. Now we are going to look at the front. So before we do anything else on the front, we are going to go ahead and mat this. I need to trim that one down because that one is way too wide. And it needs to be 1 1/8. Okay, so to mat the outside, we're going to go 6 3/4 high. Actually, let me double check that. For some reason, I think it's different. Alright, so to mat the outside, yeah, you're going 6 3/4 high by 5 inches wide. Okay, turn that over, let's get the back. All right. All right, so now for the fun part. Now comes the shaker. So for the shaker, what you need to do, you need one of your 4x6 cut-aparts. Okay, you're going to need 3 4x6 cut-aparts total. You just need to decide which one is going to go on the front. I think I'm going to use this one. What I've done is I've taken several strips of chipboard. Okay, these are 3/8 of an inch wide, 12 inches long. I'll move this out of the way for a minute. And what we're going to do is you're going to cut a couple of these to about 5 15/16 of an inch. Okay, they don't have to be perfect. You're not going to see them. You just have to make sure they are not longer than your cut apart. Okay, you're going to need 4 of them that are 5 by 15/16. And really you can cut one and then use your scissors to trim the rest. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to sandwich a couple of these together. Okay, so to do that, I am going to go ahead and use my glue. Okay, you sandwich it together just like that. Okay. This is going to help make the frame for whatever we end up putting in here as a shaker. Okay, now got this sandwiched. Now you're going to glue it to the outside edge of your 4x6 cut apart. Okay, so you want to go almost all the way to the edge, not quite, but close enough. Okay, so see, there's the edge of my cardstock, just barely to the edge. Okay, do this on both sides. Okay, get those pressed down. Now, wherever I've lost the ruler yet again, there it is. Okay, so now we're going to measure in here, and we are at about 3 1/4. So I'm going to go 3 1/4. You're going to need 4 of those. Actually, before we get too much further, yeah, that's perfect. All right. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to sandwich these. Okay. And then you're going to put them down just the same way. And you may need to trim just a tiny, tiny bit off. Ah. and do the same thing. So we've built our frame around our cut apart. Just the tiniest bit off of there. There we go. Okay. All right, we're gonna let that dry for just a second. Then we need to figure out what we're gonna do our frame with. Okay, so for the frame that's gonna go around the top of this, we basically just need another 4x6, which really, what's on the back side of this one? Yeah, let's go ahead and go with this one. Okay. Okay, so now turn this over so the side that you are not going to see is facing up. And where am I? Pencil it. There it is. Okay. So you're going to come in here and you're going to go 1/2 inch and draw a line. You're going to go on the other side. You're going to go 1/2 inch, draw a line. Same thing again, turn it. Half an inch, draw a line. Okay. And then just double check that you've measured correctly. Okay. Once you've done that, you can do this one of two ways. You can take a ruler and an X-Acto knife and trim out the center, or if you're brave, you can do it with your paper trimmer. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm lining up there's that little wire in this particular paper trimmer, lining that up on top of the line I drew, lining the line on the top of the little blade piece here up with my line here. Just very carefully go across. All right, so you should have a frame. Before you put your frame down, we need to figure out what we're putting inside as a shaker. And we need a piece of acetate. Now, when I did mine at the retreat, I actually didn't have any acetate. I used a piece of packaging. You could absolutely do that. You want to cut it just a tiny bit smaller than your frame. So your frame's 4x6. You want to go like 5 15/16 by 3 15/16. Okay, so that you don't have any of that hanging out over the edge. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, on my tape, is I am going to take 1/4 inch score tape, and I'm going to go all the way around my little frame. Okay. All right. And we're gonna, somehow that one is just not cooperating. Okay. Pull our backing off, perhaps, maybe, sorta. Okay. For crying out loud. The score tape hates me today, I've decided. All right. And then wipe the dust off of this, because apparently it was dusty. You're just gonna lay this down. Oh no, don't do that yet. Haha. Before you put your acetate down, put in here whatever your little shaker stuff's gonna be. That's way too much. There we go. All right. And then you're gonna lay your acetate down. Make sure this is completely sealed, and there's your shaker. Now we're gonna take 3/8 score tape. I'm gonna go around our frame. All right. And I'll cover up that chipboard. Okay. I did get that just a little bit wonky, but that's okay. All right, so there's your shaker. So the next step is going to be, we're going to do our band that's going to go around the book and hold it closed. So basically all you're going to do is decide where you want this to start and glue it down where you want it to start. Okay. And you'll notice that this is just a 2" by 12" piece of cardstock. You'll notice as you wrap it around, it's not going to meet in the middle. It's not going to matter because we're going to cover it up with one of these. Okay? Let's get it started there. Bend it over the side. Okay. Glue that over the side. And then we're going to glue it across the back. Okay, all right, so there's that. Now then, you're going to bring it up on this side, just bend it over, leave a little bit of space. You don't want this completely smushed flat. You want to leave it a little bit loose. Bring it up, figure out about where you want it to bend. Okay, and then this piece, is going to attach to the back of our shaker. So we're going to push that up. Actually, not the whole thing. It's okay, because we're going to cover that up here in just a second. You want to center your shaker up on there. Push that down. You can fold it over and do a better job of getting it burnished down. All right, so now, once again, we're going to go back to the magnets. I used a big magnet on the other book. Like I said, I think I am out of the big magnets. I couldn't find any more tonight or today, which is too bad because I'm going to have, well, not too bad. Now I have to order some, but that's okay. Because where I order them from is very, very fast. So all we're going to do here is we're going to do a magnet up here. And one down here. This is going to be just slightly skewed, which is perfect. Okay, you're going to push that down so that those other magnets stick. And then you're going to take your other 4x6. I think we're going to put him on this side. So this is going to do two things. Of course, it's going to cover up the magnets, it's going to cover up the back side of our band, and it's going to add a little bit more stability to the back side of that shaker. Okay, so then we just need to decide which one of these. I think we're going to go with the stars. So how I got this to sit perfectly underneath my shaker so you don't see it until you move the shaker, as I ran adhesive, and I just kind of held it on there, let it go where the of course let it go wrong because of course I did. Okay, just kind of keep pushing it till it's where you can't really tell that it's there, and then open it up. Of course, I got a little bit of glue here. Thankfully, I'm using art glitter that dries clear and you won't be able to tell. And there we go. Now, we could leave this band black like that if we wanted to. We could wrap it with one of these little border strips. I've got this way cute one with the little Viewmaster reels on it. So we can wrap this if we want to. And then all that's left really is to just do a little bit of decorating on the inside and it's all done. Okay, so now we just need to decide if we're going to decorate the band that goes around the album. And if we do, which paper we're going to use. I think I'm going to use this with the little bows. Okay, so really, this should have gone underneath here, but it didn't. So all I'm going to do is take my scissors, line them up right along there, get this set where it would have been, and now it's real close. Aha, there we go. Good enough. Okay, so there it is. I'm losing things right and left today. Alright, so I'm going to get some glue on the back of here. and get this started. And I am going to push that right up against the side of that, because like I said, technically it should have gone underneath. I wasn't thinking. It's okay. It happens. It's not a big deal. Okay. I'm just going to wrap this around, and it's off. Of course it's off. It's okay. It'll be fine. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's handmade. At least this is what I tell myself when I screw stuff up. That's okay. Okay. Just gonna keep wrapping around and around until we get up here. And just needs a bit more glue. Okay. Yeah, so that's a little jacked up. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because truly we should have matted that band before we ran it around the book, but that's okay. Okay, so we've got our shaker. Opens up. We've got our little stuff in here. We could actually take this piece and mat this in here. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay. All right. That one looks a little bit better. Okay, so now we just need to decide what we're going to do to decorate this. So I've got the 3x4 cut aparts, and I'm just going to take and stick some of those down in the pockets in the back here, because that will work just perfectly. Let's see, I'm actually going to leave a couple of these out because I'm going to do some tuck spots. So for my tuck spots, I'm actually just going to use the ATG, put a little bit of tape at the bottom, center this up, and now we've got a little tuck spot back there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Let's see here. Okay. All right, which actually I'm going to stick those in there. Actually, one of those in there. Okay, so we've got another tuck spot there. And then on the inside here, let's see. Did I get this over too far? No, I'm just having some issues. Okay, so let's see. No, I need a darker one. there. Okay, we'll go this way. Oh, let's see here. Okay, a tuck spot there. This one we can tuck back in behind there. And let's see here. Tuck him in there. We'll tuck that one back there. Put this one in with there. All right. So let's see what we've got as far as decorations go. I have got brads and I've got chipboard phrases. So, what's that, buddy? Can you what? No, no video games. Yeah, there's fruit snacks. There's fruit snacks in the pantry. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
Like Michelle's do.
Yes. Okay, so that one we're going to put there. Bye, bye, Nick. Bye. I'm going to put this one in here. I think some of these brads are actually going to grab a couple of these out of here. Let's see here, what have I got? Anne's Castle. Okay. And what I'm going to do with these is find my okay. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to just take, and most of the brads that are like this, that kind of have this like, I don't know, that kind of, you know, the funny back like that, usually you can just take these and bend them a few times and they pop right off. Because I don't know about you, but I never ever remember to poke holes where I would be able to run a brad through. So I do this, or you know, if you've got some oh, I don't know, wire cutters, you can always cut them off, but usually you can just wiggle them around a few times and they'll pop right off. In fact, Simple Stories used to make some that were flat backed, so they looked like brads, but they weren't brads, but they weren't like those, oh, for a while there, like those little tin pin things were kind of popular. Simple Stories used to make something kind of similar, but they called them, I don't remember what they called them, but they were really neat. I don't think I have any of them anywhere anymore. I think I've used all of them. Yeah, I don't usually buy the brads for stuff because I just don't end up using them, except like we're going to do right here. For crying out loud. Come on. Okay, this one doesn't want to work, or doesn't want to come off apparently. So I'm going to get my alright. I'm just going to get my little snipper things here. There we go. Okay. So all we're going to do, we're going to take a pop dot. We're going to put that on the back. Actually, I didn't want him in the middle. I wanted him. That's okay. I wanted him at the top, not the middle. that's okay, because we'll just put this one in the middle instead. And because it kind of dips in on the back, it's not going to matter that it's a pop dot, because they're still going to lay almost flat. Well, as flat as, you know, a brad would be. Okay, let's get those run down the middle there. Let's find something we can put on there. I don't know if we want that. Actually, I kind of like this one. Okay. So once again, you know, I don't know. I don't seem to have good luck with the adhesive that's on the back of little chipboard shapes like this. I almost always put some other adhesive on them, either some glue or, you know, tape or something, because they don't ever want to quite lay flat for me. So that's entirely up to you. We're going to put him there. Okay, got a text spot over there. We've got something there. We need something up here. So let's do do it like that. Okay. All right, so that's going to sit down like that. Let's see here. There's that, there's that. All right, so something over here. I'm sure that one has good adhesive that's good enough. It doesn't even want to come off the thing. That's okay. We're going to do this over here just like that. We're going to take, which actually, okay. Let's do that. Actually, there we go. Okay, we're going to put that up across there. And then I think I'm going to let's pull well, if I can hang on to him, would help, huh? Well, this does not want to cooperate. How it was cut. It just didn't want to go the rest of the way. Just be careful when you cup your hand around them like that, because, and once again, I'm speaking from experience, I have cut myself before, like trying to hold them like this to keep that little back piece from flying off into oblivion, and it doesn't feel good. Okay, this is gonna drive me nuts. I'm just gonna find some enamel dots here somewhere in my stash. Right there. Yes, that was a tote full of ephemera, or I'm sorry, enamel dots and jewels and whatnot, because, yeah, it's okay. Oh, there we go. All right, so then let's do okay. All right. And I think we're going to call it good. And I didn't use this little one anywhere, did I? That's okay. That's okay. All right, we're going to call that good, and there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you end up making this project, please share it and tag me on Facebook. I would love to see your take on it, and thanks for watching.